I think the issue has always been, and it's been from the outset, that there is not sufficient evidence as yet to draw any grand conclusions about supposed collusion or about some kind of conspiratorial coordination between Trump and the Russian state. And that, as of now, is treated as a given. It's the premise on which people are operating almost reflexively. So you have people like Adam Schiff, who's now running these House Intelligence Committee meetings on the issue, just asserting without even substantiating it that Russia, say, hacked the DNC. Now, it's plausible that some Russian state actors were involved in the hack of the DNC, but there's still been no evidence presented publicly for that. So just to run around asserting without qualification that that's just unbridled truth is indicative of how this issue is sort of morphed into a narrative that is almost unfalsifiable. And I think that's resulted in paranoia being stoked. So that's what I observe on a regular basis. So I've been to town hall meetings where anti-Trump groups and liberal activist groups are going and proclaiming how they're going to stop the Trump agenda and so on and so forth. And they really exhibit almost this derangement that you would more associate with the right. This kind of dot connecting and weaving of disparate facts together to create a narrative that is convenient because it happens to weaken or harm Trump. And I think that's what has produced that is this conformity of opinion in establishment circles about the nefariousness of Russian state actors, and I don't think it's really grounded in much factual basis. So that's my basic synopsis.
Okay, I would agree with what you said 100%. Would you agree with what he said? How would you differ?
Mostly. So here's how I differ. When it comes to Russia, did they hack the DNC? I don't really care if they did or not, to be honest.
Me neither.
I think that there has been a lot of Russia screaming and screaming about Russia and using that as the focal point of why Hillary lost the election. There's a lot of blame shifting and a lot of distractions happening with the Russian issue. So on that front, I'm totally with you guys. If Trump's folks coordinated with Russia, I think we should look into it, and those people should be punished appropriately. I don't think there's any evidence of that as of yet. That said, I disagree with you guys in the following way. I think Russia is an issue. It's not an issue that normal Americans care about. I think it's an issue for the pundit class and for Washington. But I think it is an issue, and here's why. Trump to me is a deeply corrupt man who will do business dealings with anyone. Russia, Argentina, Japan, it doesn't matter. I don't have a particular boner for Russia in this case. But there are clear ties to Russia with people in his camp. So Flynn had to go because of his connections to Russia. Jeff Sessions had to recuse himself because of his connections to Russia. And now Paul Manafort, who ran his campaign from March until August, which is really the lion's share of the campaign, had deep ties to Russia. Granted, it was before he joined the campaign, but there's enough there that this should be an issue that should be investigated. And if your criticism is there's not enough evidence as of yet, I totally agree with you on that, totally agree with you. But if your point is, I don't want to hear any more about Russia, it's all lies, it's all fake, well, that part I disagree. I think there's enough there that warrants more investigation, and I want to see it. And if there are clear ties, if Paul Manafort is a Russian agent who has taken tens of millions of dollars from Russia to help Putin's government, have more influence in former Soviet states and perhaps in Western democracies, you know what? He has to disclose that. If he didn't disclose that, then he's violating some laws and he should maybe go to jail. Now that's different than what Trump's role is in the Russia thing. That's a step removed. So my point is, I'm all for the investigations. I'm all for learning what really happened, who the players were, and what the connections are. And I feel that you guys are a bit too dismissive of the importance of looking into that. But again, I agree with you guys on the part about how this is being used as a distraction away from who's to blame for Hillary's loss. It's a distraction to issues that matter to Americans, income inequality, healthcare, environmental, all that kind of stuff. So I'm with you on that, but that's where I disagree.
Hey, MSNBC just hired Megyn Kelly to make sure Santa Claus stays white. If you're sick of that kind of bullshit lefty corporatism from the news, support aggressive progressives right here at the Young Turks Network. You become a member for $10 a month. It gets you access to the whole show. We do an hour every week, and it gets you access to all the other member benefits at the Young Turks. Stick your thumb in the eye of the corporate news and become a member of TYT Network. Go to tytnetwork.com/join and find out what it's all about.